All right, we have Frannie. Frannie came to me a couple months ago with some back pain, and I'm gonna let her just kind of fill you in on all the things and any big takeaways that she's had during this process. But she is someone who honestly has kept me on my toes with her comments and has consistently just made me laugh. So without further ado, I'm gonna hand it over to you, and if you just want to kind of fill everyone in on your backstory and all of that, we'll go from there.
Well, thank you, doctor. So so yeah, I had posted on my Instagram actually about having some sciatica pain, and another competitor that I know recommended you. And I was kind of at my wit's end. I had had the pain previously, but this last bout, it was like about 2 months of just consistent sciatica pain, like every single day. And I was just kind of ready to try anything. So I reached out. I was about to go to like a pain management center, and luckily, I guess they didn't have an opening till like February. So I was like, this is kind of like my only thing I'm gonna do right now. And like almost within like the first week of working together, I started to feel a lot of relief. I am really like bad about wanting like instantaneous, like I wanted that instant gratification. So there was definitely a little bit of doubt, like it's not going away like in the first week, but after shoot, I'd say like 2 months, 6 to 8 weeks, there were days where I just like didn't have any pain at all. The exercises, they were like pretty like non-intrusive. Like it wasn't something that like took a lot of time out of my day. And eventually I grew to really like enjoy them, and it's become such a routine. But the biggest one was like the biggest scope of everything is that I travel a lot, and I do sit down a lot, and I have a toddler, and I carry her mainly on the hip that has the problem, which is probably why I have part of the problem. But just recently, I took a flight that was 6 hours and I didn't have any pain. It was really just kind of like, okay, that's not my life anymore. Like I thought the pain was going to be with me almost like forever, and which would have kind of hindered like the bodybuilding competition stuff that I did. So like I really all I can say is like thank you, and it's been great working together, and I trust you so much. So whatever you tell me to do, I'm just gonna do it. Because it really was like a game changer, like life changing to not have the pain anymore. So yeah.
I remember it was like day three, and you were like, "Hey, I still have pain." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Hey, it's been going on for a long time."
Yeah.
But we did find a couple exercises like right out the gate that did seem to relieve quite a bit of pain. And then
Hmm.
it's just like, okay, how can we get this to carry over in your day to day, and everything that you have to do for work and being a mom and all that. And then obviously prepping for, I know you're kind of in this build, right, with bodybuilding and so yeah, it's been cool to see, but it was hilarious because you're like, um, yeah, we're 3 days in and I still have pain. It's like, yeah.
For me, I need to practice some patience, and this has definitely helped on that. Yeah.
So walk me through, like, one of the questions I get is, how can you do this online? Like, blah blah blah. So what was the assessment process like? What was, kind of that first call like? Paint a picture of that process, if you remember.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty easy. I will say just like personally, I've had a lot of experience with like online coaches, so I wasn't super hesitant for it. I guess I was a little bit because I was focusing so specifically on like something that was like painful that you were trying to fix. But yeah, the assessment, you just basically did like a video call, like a full body assessment. One thing I really liked was that you were honest of like, I may or may not be able to fix you. Like that was kind of nice. You weren't like right out of the gate, like, oh, I'll be able to do it, like before you assess me or anything. So I really like that aspect of it. And you just asked a lot of questions that I hadn't like thought about prior, like about where the pain was coming from, like when I had it like sitting up, sitting down, what it felt like. So he really kind of guided me to give you like a better idea of what the pain was and like where it was coming from and everything like that. So it was like obviously you knew what to ask. You had done, you have experience that I don't have. And so that was comforting too. So yeah, it was pretty easy online wise. It's 2025, everything's out in the cloud or whatever. But so it was pretty easy. I mean, and then you just anytime I needed help or wanted to communicate, we did through the Everfit app, and that was also very easy. So
Yep. That's my role, my job.
yeah,
Make it simple.
well,
Um,
good job.
hey. Okay. No, that's awesome. So how has it been? So, one of the things that we talked about was doing it before your workouts, going into the gym, doing all of those things. Do you feel like that piece of it has been helpful as well as, hey, if I have a little bit of a flare up, like I know the exercises to do whenever, like how did having that routine right before the gym, before your workouts, how did that feel different maybe compared to like previous experience?
Well, straight up, honest truth, like I don't really warm up before my workouts. I'm just telling you. Like I go
Wonderful.
through phases. So this was kind of good for me in a lot of ways, because it did like kind of put me through like a warm up, especially for like my lower body. And so I think that that kind of just has like boosted my confidence and my abilities in the gym for sure. And it's just become, like I said, a routine now. And there are certain like specific exercises, like if I do have like a flare up or something, you're like, maybe I should just get the band out and do a couple moves. And that normally helps. Or if I have a flare up, sometimes it's because I was doing an exercise and I probably wasn't like focusing on my form as well as I could have been. But it's really made me kind of aware and like conscious of how I'm like moving in the gym now. Like I feel like I'm moving with a lot more purpose. And I think that that has definitely helped like all my numbers and everything like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I think what was that? It was probably a few weeks ago. You were like, dude, I don't remember the number, but it was quite a bit higher on leg press than you had been doing, right? Previous.
Yeah.
Um, and that was one of the things you talked about, I think on our first call was, I can do this. Like I still feel strong. It doesn't feel like it's necessarily inhibiting me. And then you started kind of noticing, okay, well, maybe it was actually messing with my confidence a little bit.
Mhm.
And now, you're just building away and prepping. You're in this like off season, I guess, build, correct?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I guess for me, like goal wise, what are your plans? Are you prepping for stage next year? Are you prepping for any certain shows or anything like that?
No specific show. I definitely want to compete again. I kind of have gone through like the whole year with my coach on what like our plan of attack is. It's changed a little bit with like travel and just like fluctuations and how I've been responding to her protocol. I think in the next couple of weeks, like we're doing kind of a one on, one off, like high and low carb day. And what she wants me to get to is like every day, high day before we start cutting again. And in the past I was very like, oh, I want to just like cut and compete and do this, but it's kind of nice to just be like, all right, I'm just gonna play the long game and really do this right. And now, like with not having like any pain and being really confident in myself in the gym, I just know that in the next like 8 months or whatever, when I do probably start prepping again, it's gonna be pretty sick. But yeah, right now, honestly, I'm kind of just doing whatever my coaches tell me because it's just, it's just easier that way. It takes a lot of second guessing out.
Yep.
But yeah, the goal is ultimately to hit the stage again, maybe next fall or early the next year in 27. So no rush, really.
Working on that patience muscle again.
Yeah, yes, I am.
Um,
Yeah.
were there any hesitations? I mean, earlier you'd said like you were pretty desperate to try like whatever. Like, were there any hesitations that you kind of overcame to work together or anything like that?
I mean, yeah, definitely. Of course, there were some. I never really heard of you before or seen your work or anything. I mean, that's just the honest, opinion. And the girl that did recommend to me, I only knew her, very surface level, like just through Instagram. But she was like, yeah, my pain went away. And I was like, well, I'll do it. And then, of course, the first couple weeks when it wasn't like magically gone, I was like, this isn't gonna work. But I was like, I just need to keep, following what you were telling me to do. And eventually it did. I think that's with anybody, starting something new with someone they don't really know or know a lot about. I think that's very normal. And so, it was just, I put a lot of trust in you. And it worked out really well. So.
Did not take your money and run off to Mexico.
Yeah, yeah. I would have been upset.
Yeah, just a smidge, you know.
Just smidge.
For anyone that is dealing with pain, like obviously yours was quite bad.
Mhm.
It's affecting kind of day to day. Obviously, as a mom, obviously now we know it was affecting the gym a little bit. Is there any like piece of advice that you would give them? Is there anything that you've learned during this time that you're like, ooh, this is important for you to know?
Yeah, I think just like anything that I've done is just there's no really true easy quick fix. And like, when I was thinking about going to the pain management, I was like, maybe I would have gotten an instant relief from them, but would that have been, something that was preventing it in the future? Like, would it have just been a band-aid as opposed to like healing the actual like problem? And I think just like the patience and the time is going to pass. So you might as well like do the work for real because that's really what's going to get you what you want. And it sucks. Like everybody wants to go the easy route and, immediate results, but the consistency is really what's been good for me. And so just keep going.
Yep. Love
Yeah.
it. Cool. Well, super stoked on this, especially you just went to Hawaii for a 6 hour flight there and back.
Yeah.
Absolutely handled it like a champ. But yeah, honestly, been super stoked to go on this journey. Like I said earlier, anytime I have a message from you, it's probably gonna be something that's making me laugh because
Okay.
it's been a good time. So anyway, I appreciate you putting your trust in me and I have been super stoked to go on this journey with you.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.